Welcome to the Random Opening Challenge, a series where I play on multiple accounts where I am forced to play a randomly generated opening. I'm quite casual and careless when it comes to online games, so join me to see how far each opening will advance. Google was actually really nice to me this time because I rolled unorthodox already twice and this is only the second episode. Okay, so it looks like my opponent is kind of mirroring my moves. Are they mirroring my moves? I'm going to jump out this time. Because I don't want them to just play this two-space jump. It's slightly less strong, it's slightly weaker shape because there's push and cut, and so on, but it works right now, so I'm just going to roll with that. The key about the unorthodox, I've said this a lot of times, but it's really how to use the Tengen Stone, because the Tengen Stone is not very efficient if you can't use it well. It doesn't make any territory, it's just a stone smack in the middle of the board. So we're going to have to work hard for that. Okay, so white still played a knight's move. I feel like it's not bad to answer because I still have like a move to bother white's shape. So it looks pretty okay. Okay, so approach here. I don't really want the right side, so I'm going to pincer. I'm going to give white the right side. Nobody really wants this side because black can jump in here and white has the stone, so neither player can make a lot of territory. Okay, so we're going to play this simple Joseki. Alright, and then we're going to approach. Wow, okay. That is definitely a mistake. There's absolutely no doubt about that. Black has 5 spaces, not making much at all, and white is invading. So this is a very easy target, and I'm already not worried about using my Tengen Stone already. White actually played that knight's move. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Yeah, I think I want to extend up this time. If I block, white's gonna hane on top. Even though this stone is like not right here at the start point, but still, it's in pretty awkward shape if I don't deal with that. Okay, so my opponent is actually being very smart about it. They're not exchanging the cut or the turn. They're just jumping out. If that move actually makes a lot of sense, but this move doesn't really. I think I can just cut and capture this. Maybe white is thinking about sacrificing. That's possible. Okay, clearly not. Not sacrificing. Okay, so is white going to connect? If white connects, then I think I can push out even. But if white doesn't, then black's shape would be very complete. Yep, so they want to push out, and then I can push through this way. Now it's going to be very complicated, but I've pushed through, so white didn't actually gain much. If white connected and black captured and white hane there, then white would have gained something here at least from that sacrifice. But I don't think white gains anything right now. It's a very complicated variation here. Yep, so now I can't capture, I have to turn. And then, okay, so if I don't diagonal, well, it's gonna be, but my outside feels a little weak. So I think I have to protect the outside now. But I have to like turn this way. So, wow, another relatively aggressive move. I'm just gonna push here because if white cuts I capture, then white would have to go back on the top. So this attachment doesn't really do much. I'm not sure what white is trying to do. Oh, I see. So they're trying to Atari through this way. Okay. Now, do I let them? Or do I just capture this first? I think I have a couple of options right now. I think I'm gonna attach. I want to exchange this first. If white pushes, then I can connect. White doesn't have any free moves to play, so this cut will be mine in the future. So, okay, they connected here, which is a big territorial move. Very aggressive player, and they've got decent reading to back it up. So this one's definitely not a walk in the park here. We have to work very hard here. But they're also playing really fast, so probably they're gonna make a big mistake sometime soon. Yeah. All right. So yeah, I probably should have turned because this is actually a little bit uncomfortable. I'm gonna get back the middle. The middle is extremely important. I have to have like some decent connection in the middle to make sure that my Tengen Stone doesn't just get cut off and is in a bad situation. So I need to maintain a decent middle groups. Okay, so I'm gonna connect. Hmm. Okay, so I don't need to capture the 3 stones per se, since if white escapes, I can still connect to my outside group. This middle group is alive already, for sure. 3 eyes there, which should be no problem. I gotta push and cut this. If I extend, white's gonna play the bamboo, so I have to push and cut. I have a I already have an eye on the top, which is why I'm not really worried about my group that much. I'm gonna... Should I Honey and Tiger's Mouth or should I connect? This definitely I have to read out what's going on in the corner. Should probably just Tiger's Mouth. The clamp works the same way pretty much. So what should be fine? So I'm going to push first, then capture back. White's still owing a move on the top, meaning white needs to move to make sure there are 2 eyes. At the moment, white's still threatening my outside groups, so that's why white didn't protect yet. But as long as I save them, white's going to have to spend another move to protect. This is just generally not very good. White should at least just diagonal directly. Okay. I'll just protect. There's no reason to take risks anymore. I didn't really explain this too much because I guess I was a little too concentrated on the game. But when in the middle, it was actually very complicated, but after black got the knight's move to enclose again, white didn't play strong enough moves to keep black enclosed. So that's why I kind of feel really good about the game again, since now white's lived in 2 points. Black broke through to the left side, so white doesn't really have that much territory. And we're basically at a stage in which black has a lot of territory and is very strong. Really? They're gonna race liveries with my big group here. I think they probably should have think that through twice. I have at least like 8 liveries. White has like 6 at most. I don't even have to read this, and this should be obvious. But always we want to capture first before connecting when we can. So it would waste one of my opponent's co-threats. Also again here, because now we're going to waste another one of their co-threats. We'll see which co-threat they find. And they have to probably like push or something. Yeah, but of course I'll answer because there's nothing here. Might as well just capture the 3 stones, make the whole group thick. I don't need to surround this group because it's already alive, obviously. I also don't have to answer that, so I can even attack the white middle group if I wanted to. I'm going to pincer it because it puts pressure on the group. So later on I can get like diagonals on the second line, and there will all be sente. So it's a big move. You don't really find that many big moves at this stage. Another big move is to pressure this white group. Okay, what are they trying to do here? I'm just gonna extend this. There's so much agi with those stones. So I'm gonna get rid of all of the agi. And then, okay, this is not gonna work. Yep. Okay. So, this game was really interesting because when white broke out, I got quite nervous here because white completely destroyed black's territory and black wasn't all that strong. But it was really like how we when white spent all of those moves in the middle just to live and make black strong on the outside. Those are the moves when I felt that the game transitioned. At this point, these moves are just completely not. They're like 20. These are like 20 cube moves. Like, how on earth are they going to work? Like, this is just. White's trying really hard though. It makes the strategy, the whole strategy and stuff, they all make sense. But at this point, keep in mind that white is so much behind that white has to try out these things in order to have a chance in coming back. Yeah, but looks like we're going to get the resign soon. Actually, they are a very strong reader because during this upper fight, I didn't really get the upper hand until much later into the mid game. So already we're seeing that pressure on me from my opponents at 5D. Which is what a lot of you guys wanted to see, right? And I think that's going to be interesting. I'm really looking forward to 7-Dan games when we get them. I think it will be very interesting. Okay, if my opponent doesn't resign, we're going to skip forward very soon. Okay, that was fast. I was going to skip forward, but I guess we didn't really need to. Yep. So let me just go back to the point where I think that was important. So this descent was an extremely slack move. White definitely should have extended. White is definitely winning right now. Black has nothing. And this right group is very heavy, and it's not alive. So black is going to have to deal with that. The territory is very close. So I don't think black has any lead right now. And the game is definitely still even. Right after white descended and black got this, white spends so many moves here, like in the center, especially this capture. It's such a slow move. Black has so many moves to play. So black got the 3 stones. Black also got the left side. And these moves were pretty unnecessary as well. White should just start making the group alive. Maybe by playing this move or something. White did that later, but it was too late. White was already alive, so that move didn't really matter. And I think on the very top, I made a big mistake because maybe I should have just pulled back. It was a good result for black anyway. I got greedy and I tried to push out. When black pulls back, white can get a few Atari moves, but the connection is Gote. And black can just jump in or do something on the left side. Black has so much territory on the top, and black should have been satisfied. My push through was a big overplay. White took advantage of that and managed to get the game to almost even. So a very interesting game. The pressure is already on me, so this is going to get really interesting. So let's roll the next opening, and we have a 1, and I believe that's Sensei. I feel like I've been getting about the same amount of white and black stones now. That's not something I could have said during 3D games. People would just resign all the time the moment they see they get white. And at 5D, it's actually getting a lot better. I wonder why people did that before. It's a little strange. Oh. Wait. They slid into the corner when I didn't even defend? Okay. Okay. I've never seen that before. Okay. Okay. Well, I'm gonna attack the bottom because black is very heavy with this shape. So I'm gonna jump a few times and then I will approach the corner, develop something on the bottom, and this group is still very weak. Okay, so I'm gonna jump up now. At this point it's not that good for black to invade because white jumps up and jumps up. When you escape, white's gonna reduce the right side. Don't look at this invasion and feel tempted because if you just go on top, white only has like 10-15 points. Really not worth it to do. So why is black playing endgame, especially this Hane? The push here might benefit, but the Hane is just small endgame. Okay, I am very tempted to just diagonal and cut. But I'm going to resist. I think if I just attach back, black also just isn't very good at all. Diagonal and cut might not be good since when black breaks out, black is actually attached to my stone. So white's right shape isn't as comfortable, which is why I didn't end up choosing that variation in the end. But right here, black is it's very dangerous for black. Perhaps I should have exchanged this peep first. Wow. Black is actually helping me capture this group? Do they realize that they're actually doing this? I wanted to make this Tiger's Mouth exchange because then if then black wouldn't be able to attach. If black attaches, white won't be able to Hane because when black cuts, black can actually break through. So that wouldn't be good, but black is so dead right now. I'm almost convinced that I don't need to even protect here. I can just extend this out. Okay, since they bambooed, I think I'll just protect. Right now there's a diagonal here, so black has a very big weakness here. Okay, that feels Gote, but okay, maybe there is this clamp, which is kind of annoying, so I'm going to connect. So I don't think black realizes at all that this is just completely dead. Maybe they feel they can somehow make it alive, but it's just not happening. It's just not happening. This whole group is dead. So if you don't, I mean, Sanran-sei probably doesn't occur to you like opening in which you have a lot of fights, but the reality is if you play Sanran-sei, you have to fight. You have to build moyos, and you have to force your opponent to invade and attack them. That is the essence of literally all moyo styles or all moyo oriented openings. You can't make moyos and just make territory. You can if your opponent doesn't invade, which they should. So if the opponent invades, you're going to have fights. So I think I think it's important to keep that in mind. If you don't fight using your moyos and you just keep defending your what looks like it's big territory, your opponent's going to be way more efficient than you are. So don't do that. Always fight using your influence. So if you watch some of the membership videos on Sabaki or whole board thinking or attack, a lot of that is on pressuring your opponent's groups and making big profits by attacking using the influence. Okay, so now my opponent is actually taking a long time. Yeah, so they should have spent a lot more time thinking about that before, like moves like this. At this point, it's just too late. Okay, I'm gonna push through. And then black is gonna seek some chances by pushing and cutting. Oh, no, not at all. Okay. Well, I'm just going to protect this then. I'll just make a jump here. Because I am very happy with this result. Black is not going to capture my star points though. Black only has 2 moves in the top left, so it's just not happening. And it's not like white's going to be very heavy. There's so many ways for white to Sabaki and make this group alive. So white's just not really worried. And my goal is not just to make some shape here. I'm actually trying my best right now to pressure black. So one thing I can do is like tiger's mouth and double hane, but maybe that's a little bit early. I can extend first, and this threatens to connect the white stone back by extending here. That is actually very severe. And also, like, if black jumps, I can just push. Oh, okay, so black descended. Then I can block here. Yeah, so like I said, I mean, black is not going to attack white very severely. Black is just has so many shape problems. And the main thing is the efficiency, right? So because black extended, there were so many forcing moves for white over here. And black also spent 1 move on the second line, which is good for taking away eye space, but it doesn't prevent white from going to the center at all. So for all of these reasons, it's pretty easy for white to deal with this weak group. Okay, so black actually just extended. What I'm a little bit tempted to do is I can actually just push once more. Also, black is dealing with a very annoying weakness with a tiger's mouth. The shape is it's just terrible. So no matter what, black is going to have a very hard time. I think black's best move right now is just to connect and then let white push through and then hane. That's the best thing black can do at this stage. So first, if black blocks, there's just this ladder that captures. And if black descends, then when white pushes, black still can't do anything, so it's just better to connect. Okay. Well, it looks like they didn't see the ladder, so this is the end of this game. It's very interesting though with the fight on the bottom, because yeah, so you should never play the knight's move and Tanuki. That's just never a good idea. You end up having a weak group that's really heavy, and Black kept overplaying in this game. So when this group died, I think it was almost over, but Black had a big Moyo, which they developed quite well at the start, but because in the beginning, Black's stones were just not that efficient. Black died too many stones in the bottom left. White is really, really efficient. If you like remove the same amount of stones on the bottom left, White is just simply too efficient. I can actually do that exercise at some point if you're interested. Wow. Is Black going to keep playing? Because this is definitely not playable, right? Okay. So they did like a indirect ladder breaker to see if I would not respond enough. Anyway, yeah, so you can't just play super aggressive like this. It's never going to work. If the opponent cuts you, all they have to do is like read a little bit. Okay, that's a big assumption, but it's not an extremely difficult reading because White has a very clear advantage in the fight. Yeah. So general bad overplay strategy. Anyway, let's continue and let's see what we get. Oh, you're so nice to me, Google, this season. All right, let's go back to the unorthodox. Here we go again on unorthodox. I don't think I've ever said that in season 1. 2 games in 1 episode. This is amazing. I'm loving this. Okay, so let's see what we can come up with this time. Okay, I like this opening, but the pressure is on because we have to. It's difficult. It's difficult to use this, but I'm definitely enjoying the challenge. Okay, so my opponent just split the side, which means there should be quite a few things we can do. To start, since they kicked, I can already start building some Moyo here. Okay, nice. So I'm happy with that. Something to start. So here's a tip. If your opponent has the split, you can just block in double Hane because then their extension would be too close to their flower. If you block Hane, White Hane's back in double Hane. So I hope that makes sense. But in this case, I'm not going to do that because I have the Tengen Stone and I don't really want to just give White strong groups to start. So I'm just going to extend first because I want to pincer from the lower right. I'm going to use this classic pressing move to get the influence. No, so in this case, White didn't wedge and connect. And that makes sense because if White wedges and connect, Black will pull back. And the local shape is not very good. Okay, so now I have to think about whether or not I turn if they connect there. Let me Hane first. I want to see how White responds to my Hane attach first. Actually, can I attach? I already Hane'd, so I kind of have to attach. Okay, so White just connected back. Okay, so that's fine. It's actually good I did that before this because then I'll definitely not turn. Oh, why would they extend if they? Oh, maybe White was I guess White is thinking that they're not going to extend here. These are not very good exchanges at all since the bottom isn't settled yet. Probably white's not going to, yeah, white's not going to extend then. So I'm going to Atari. Atari is usually a good move. Okay, and yeah, I'm going to invade. So invasion is for sure. I definitely want to attack, right? I have the Tengen Stone, I have the influence here. It doesn't make any sense to do a 2-space extension and get this tiny little corner. That doesn't match the influence at all. So invasion is a must. I'm going to, I let white, okay, now do I push? No, I'm not going to push. I let white do the 2-space extension, but I can still bother it. So this is a very strange overplay, and it's very sudden. I don't know where these moves come from, because I don't think this strategy makes any sense at this point, because black is just pushing through, and there's no follow-up move locally here. I mean, white could connect back, but that's not going to do very much. Okay, and white does connect back. So I'm tempted to cut here, since if white Atari's out, white would have to connect. I'm trying to get the most possible, but still keeping the shape. Yep, so white just ended up sacrificing, which is okay, but you can't do that all the time. You can't just keep sacrificing everywhere, and yeah, because locally black is actually relatively efficient. Yeah, Go is all about efficiency. White is trying to get a lot of territory and using the strategy, but I don't think white understands what efficiency is. And so when white plays like moves like this, white's getting 0 points, and black is all in the center. So I barely have to count, and I already know that black is doing very well. So I think I'm just gonna close. I still want to enclose this, because if white does go out, my old wall is going to be a weak group, and that's not going to good. That's not good. So I'm still going to keep playing here in this area. Yeah, but my point is that white is super inefficient. Like, you see all these stones on the second line. So we can count white's territory. Like, there's 13 points here. There's 4 points here. There's about 10 points here. That's only 20. That's only 27 plus like 10 more. 10 is like a little bit of a stretch, but we'll just call it 10. Yeah. So in all, white is very inefficient. Yeah, the 3-space extension here is also very weird. It's kind of like in the middle of, like, there's an invasion here, so it's it's not like a move that's flawless, right? So you'd rather play a 2-space extension, but white probably feels that the 2-space extension is too close. So in that case, you just want to play like a knight's move to completely attack. So the invasion here is good, though. This invasion is important, and it is relatively difficult for black to deal with. Because if I descend now, white's going to jump out, and these 2 stones I can't sacrifice. Okay, this diagonal is not very good, though. So you never want to make these shapes. Like, this diagonal just helps black's outside. You can attach a double hane, but typically just making this is a very inefficient shape. Well, first of all, how is white going to live? Because when black plays the knight's move, this is locally a ko. It just looks like it's good shape, but this exchange is generally extremely bad. Okay, and Ayatori. It's a ko, and white can't even go out this way. So it's like a free ko for black. The outside is strong, and it goes well with the center. Oh, that's an interesting move. So they're trying to use the turn as a ko threat. Okay. I don't need to fight the ko right now. I'm going to play a two-space jump because it's going to threaten this, and it makes my connection a bit stronger. So that I don't have to block, right? After white turns, white can actually play knight's move, and that's pretty annoying. So I'm going to do a two-space jump. It threatens the invasion, and it's a more efficient way for black to protect. So it looks like my opponent's in Yomi. Okay, I'm just going to capture. We'll see what they do. Okay, so now I have a lot of natural ko threats. I can't believe white didn't actually even protect this. It's a free ko for black, so no matter what I get, it's free. So I can just get whatever I want basically. Since this is white can't just die here, right? White invaded the group, made black outside really strong. You can't just die here. It's going to be a very inefficient result. Actually, Hane is also a ko threat. That's a pretty comfortable one. Do I want to make this? I probably don't want to do that yet. I'm gonna extend first. These are very comfortable ko threats. Then I capture back. I'm actually thinking whether I should Hane as a ko threat. Okay, that's a ko threat. But now I can definitely Hane. And when white descends, I'm going to capture again. And the next ko threat is difficult for white to find. Notice that I haven't even played any moves during the ko that was bad. This diagonal for white at d6 is definitely bad. Okay. I might as well just capture. It's a very clean way to finish. Black is winning by at least 30 points at this stage. There's an invasion on the top that white has to deal with. Black is super strong everywhere. It's just such an easy game right now for black to play. I can even play this peep because of all of these stones. Right? Black is just way too strong. Every single one of white's groups are tiny. I went with a very aggressive variation here that probably isn't necessary. What? White cut here, that's definitely a misplay. Huh? I was thinking about that cut, but that's probably just not needed. I can just cut here. White has to connect. No, this is definitely over because locally white just died. So when I pushed and turned, that didn't actually work because white should have played the tiger's mouth. That would have been a very urgent sente to protect that cutting point. Later on, when black cut at f4, then it was just over. Okay. At this point, if you stop and think, then it's not going to be that useful. I'm like a shepherd now. I'm herding my sheep. Okay, so I'm going to come back here and capture the 2 stones. Yeah, it was a white's corner. Now it's a black's corner, so definitely unplayable. Yep. Anyway, yeah. So I really did not like what white did on the bottom. Like, white was trying to play lightly, which makes sense. Like, that's kind of what recent pro games are doing. I can tell white looks at a lot of pro games, but the problem is that white's shapes were too inefficient. Especially like something like that on the second line, you just don't want to do. White could have honeyed and tried to do something in the center. Black is not just better. I mean, there's still a lot of things black needs to deal with. For example, maybe white could jump out, or maybe even hane first. A lot of things that white could do to bother black's shape. Also, if white plays the knight's move here, or just jumps out, these would all be very important moves at this stage, because this would all poke into the hole in the center. Yeah, so I didn't really like white's strategy. They were all too low, and especially like here, white just really needs to connect or turn. I don't know, white probably doesn't want to make the turn because black could hane and double hane in the future. Yeah, so white just has to connect now, and then black will get this side. Yeah, the center is looking very big now. Black would probably invade first, and then white. So all of white's groups are small. So it's actually a very awesome illustration. It's probably the first time I've ever had like this comfortable influence game, which is what the unorthodox opening, I think, is all about, because it has the Tengen. Okay, now let's roll the next opening, but I think we're going to call this an episode. Oh, high again. Okay, I'm getting a lot of big numbers in the first 2 episodes. That's good, because they're all unusual openings. Okay, so that's going to be it for today's episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy, drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe. Feel free to check out our membership videos as well as our Patreon and Discord. My name is Ryan, and I will catch you in the next video.